Most of us show up in relationships because we want companionship. We're supposed to show up in these relationships as individuals, not requiring a whole lot from our partners in the way of completing us. It's the ego that makes us feel like we have a right to analyze our partners. It's the ego that lets us feel like it's normal to pre-fight a challenge in a relationship, even when it hasn't happened yet. It creates difficult communication for us during our relationship, and we can't really figure out why. It's the ego that reminds you of something in your past, be it your relationships with your parents, a missing father or mother, whatever your needs have been throughout you growing up. The ego is what encourages us to question everything. Question it to the point that it starts to contaminate the relationship you're trying to build. It helps us to blame our problems in our relationship on our partner and not necessarily holding ourselves accountable. Now, you and I know that sometimes we might find ourselves in a conversation and we'll say, well, I know I have my problems too, but you know, if he did this, then I wouldn't do that. Ego creates those I, me statements constantly throughout your relationship. It creates those conversations that help us to make sure we are not to blame for the problems in our relationship. This goes back to the earlier content regarding personal accountability. Now, I'm not saying that your partner is not flawed. I'm not saying that your partner doesn't have challenges. I'm not saying that you should not bring those challenges up. What I am saying is that there is a personal accountability that has to take place where the ego is not making it seem like something's wrong with all the other people that you're involved with, or your partner particularly, but that something is going on with you as well that needs to be addressed. If you enter a relationship already dooming it to fail by allowing the ego to communicate for you, as opposed to figuring out a way to disempower it in your relationship, what exactly is your goal? To connect to another human being, you have to put ego to the side. You have to be able to account yourself for what you may be contributing negatively to the relationship, and you also have to be able to see your partner in a more compassionate, open way. Let's continue to do our work on the ego this week and talk it out. You can do this. I'm looking forward to talking to you again. Don't forget, start today if you haven't already, rebuilding yourself.